In week 6, you're supposed to finish a short writing, which is the 2012 DSE Part A question. So now let's get started. First of all, let's look at the writing task first. So as highlighted in yellow, okay, you know your role. Your role is a famous news reporter of Hong Kong, okay, so that's your job. So what are you going to do is because your old secondary school has invited you to write a feature article. And in your feature article, you're supposed to introduce yourself, okay, to the students in your old secondary school. So in your article, there's should be 3 subheadings, which are given already. They are the best part of my job, the biggest challenge I've ever faced in my job, and my old school days. And don't forget, you have to add 1 heading of your own at the end of this article. So totally there should be 4 parts in your article. So here is the task analysis. So the text tab again, it's feature article. Okay, so there must be a big heading in your article, but the headings are already given, so you don't have to worry about that. And the purpose of writing this article is you have to introduce yourself to the students, to the current students in your old secondary school. And you're supposed to talk about your job as a news reporter and also what were your old school days like. And again, your role is a famous news reporter, and you're also an old student of the secondary school. And the target reader of your article should be, of course, the students of your old secondary school. And because your article is supposed to be published in a school magazine, so the readers of your school magazine are also your target reader. And because most likely students are going to read your article, so your tone should be semi-formal. Semi, this word means half, okay? So it's like in between formal and informal. You don't have to be too formal, but you're not supposed to be too informal. You're supposed to stay in the middle. So now let's start brainstorming some ideas. Begin with the best part of my job. So before writing about this part, you have to first ask yourself a question. What is being a news reporter be like? So you have to imagine yourself as a news reporter, and you have to think about the significance of your job, how significant your job is to society and yourself. So here are some suggestions and some wordings that may help you develop ideas for this part. You may say that, oh, as a news reporter, you have to do a lot of interviews and you review stories, important stories to the public. You let the public know very important information and you educate the public somehow and you again you inform the public. That means you give information to the public, and which is very important because with press freedom the public can get to know a lot of information about the government, about society, about different people in this town. So this is very meaningful. And you can also say that because you are a reporter, so you get a chance to meet people from all walks of life. Okay, all walks of life means 各行各业. Okay, it's written in Chinese here. So and you also get a chance to interview great people. For example, chief executives, even president of the other countries, okay, and that might give you a great sense of satisfaction. Okay, the word job satisfaction may be useful here. And you can also say that, oh, while interviewing different people, okay, you gain satisfaction, and it's also a very fruitful experience. Okay, fruitful means you gain something after the experience. Okay, so yeah, here you can also say that you get a chance to listen to a lot of powerful stories. So these are the words or phrases that you can use when writing the best part of my job. Okay, and then the second subheading is the biggest challenge I've ever faced in my job. So remember, you're supposed to focus on one single challenge, the biggest one you've ever faced as being a reporter. So first of all, you have to think about what are the challenges of being a news reporter, what challenges a news reporter may face. So, for example, when you're a news reporter, sometimes you may have to report riots, and that's very dangerous, okay? Yeah, that makes you work in dangerous situations, as written here. And sometimes, like this picture, you may also need to report in extreme weather, like reporting in typhoon, and that's also very dangerous and very challenging. Okay, so and sometimes something that happens suddenly, and you have to report that. You have to report it very, very quickly. You may have to give out the news report in just 30 minutes, okay, or an hour, the longest, okay, and that's very challenging because you have to compete against time, and that may put you under huge pressure, okay. So you may think about these things as the challenges of a news reporter, and you try to choose one experience. Imagine, okay, you choose one challenge, okay, and make it as your experience as a news reporter, and write it as the biggest challenge you've ever faced in your job. Okay, the third part is my old school days. So you can talk about the memories, the good memories you had in your old school days. What I suggest that you link your old school days to your current job. You try to write how your old school days inspire you. Okay, this word inspire you to become a news reporter now. Okay, so these are some of the wordings that may help you, okay, develop ideas for this part. Okay, you may say, oh, maybe because you join a press club and then you discover your talents, and then that inspire you to become a news reporter. Okay, now then we can start writing. Now, once again, let me remind you that you are a no student and also a news reporter, okay? And you're writing something for the students of your old secondary school, so your tone should be informal, okay? Now, the outline should be like this, okay? Nothing special. 4 parts, okay? You have to, okay? Think of your own subheading for the last part, okay? Let me remind you again. So 4 parts in total. I will go through each part one by one. So for the first part, the best part of my job, okay, you can divide this part into 3 parts. First of all, you talk about your job responsibilities in general. So as a news reporter, what do you have to do every day? And then you talk about how you benefit from your job and what you gain from your job. I'm not talking about money, but you may gain some fruitful experience. We just learned that word before, or you gain satisfaction. You gain sense of satisfaction in your job, and then you may also quote one very unforgettable experience, which makes you love your job so much. Okay, so here are some sentence pattern for each part. Okay, when you're talking about your general responsibilities, you may say, "Oh, as a news reporter, I have to report news every day. I have to interview different people every day." You may also write by saying, "My job duties include blah blah blah," something like that. Now, your focus should be this part. Okay, what you gain from your job. So you may start by writing something like, to me, being a news reporter is very meaningful because blah blah blah. Okay, you tell the students, okay, you had the chance to do what, okay, and then you enjoy doing what, okay. Maybe you can say, I had the chance to interview people from all walks of life, okay. And then you can quote one unforgettable experience, okay. Remember, we should use past tense here, okay. I make the word was, okay, in red color because I want to remind you, okay, you have to use past tense because when you're writing about experience, you always use past tense. You may talk about an experience that you cannot forget and that makes you love your job so much. Okay, maybe it could be about you overcoming a very great difficulty and that gives you a great sense of achievement, and then that's why you want to continue to be a great news reporter, something like that. And then the biggest challenge I have ever faced in my job. Remember, only one challenge, okay? You're not supposed to write the challenges you have every day. So what I suggest that you do is you can mention generally in 1 to 2 sentences the general challenges you have to face in your job every day. Maybe every day you have to work in a rush because everything has to be done very quickly. And then you can talk about one unforgettable experience. Now, this part should be the focus, okay? Because you're supposed to focus on one big challenge, okay? So now you can start by writing something like this, okay? Surely or undoubtedly, I enjoy being a news reporter a lot, but being a news reporter is never easy. Then you start writing the challenges you face. And for example, say you said that as a news reporter, you have to report in dangerous situation or in bad weather. Then you quote one unforgettable experience. Maybe one time you try to report a protest, a riot, 一個示威，一個騷亂, okay, and then um, something very dangerous happened, okay, then you write how you feel, okay, and what happened at that time. So when you're writing about experience, you always think about when, where, and what happened, okay? So for example, you may start by writing something like this: the biggest challenge I've ever faced in my job happened in. You first write about a time. It could be last year, it could be 3 years ago, and then you talk about where that happened, and then what happened, and something like that. All right, then the second last part, my old school days, okay? Now again, you can split it into different parts. First of all, you talk about the good memories you had in your school, and then you talk about how your school life inspired you to be a news reporter. And then again, if you do not have enough words, then you can quote one unforgettable experience in your school, okay? So again, here are some expressions that may help you write this part. So you may begin with a question like this: what were my old school days like? And then you answer yourself. Okay, I had a lot of great time in my old school. Maybe because you met a lot of great teachers, you met a lot of you made a lot of good friends. Okay, so you may start by writing something like this: I'm grateful that, okay, I met a lot of great teachers and made a lot of good friends, something like that. And then you can move on by saying how your school life inspired you to be a news reporter. So you may imagine, okay, when you were a secondary school student, you were a member or even the president of a liberal study club or a press release, a press club, something like that. And in the club, okay, you may have the chance to do a lot of things, okay. And through, okay, taking part in the activities, what did you learn? And maybe when you're writing the activities that you took part, you may also quote one as your unforgettable experience. And and then finally, you say how this experience inspired you. Okay, you may say this experience inspired me to become a news reporter. But for example, oh, you say you were a member of the press club. So one time you were a student reporter, and then you have to interview a company, and and you enjoyed being a student reporter a lot. So that experience inspired you to be a real news reporter when you grow up, something like that, okay? So try to link your old school days to your job. That will make your whole writing more integral. Okay, finally, because we have to add one more subheading to our article. So if you do not have any ideas, here are some suggestions. You may write something about dream. In the last part, you may ask the students of your old school, because they are the readers of your article, okay, what their dreams are. You may encourage them to pursue their dream, okay. And because you're writing about old school days in the second last part, right, so you may also talk about the biggest challenge in your old school days, okay. And also you may talk about your hope or your aspirations as a news reporter. Maybe you hope that, oh, we will continue to have freedom of press in Hong Kong. We will continue to, all news reporters will continue to report the truth to the readers, something like that. Okay, so these are some suggestions for the last part of your article. Okay. So this is the end of this video. So again, if you still have problems about writing this article, feel free to WhatsApp me.